Just because we can hyper-personalize cold emails in the age of AI doesn't mean that we should. And perhaps in your case, it can be a waste of time. So I just went through the process of hyper-personalizing thousands of cold emails, sending them, and then just realizing that the reply rate doesn't change. So I want to show you this case study. So you decide for yourself whether you want to spend that time and energy on hyper-personalization, or perhaps you can focus on something more productive. So first of all, why do we want to do it? Hyper-personalized cold emails, they do get attention in theory at least. So if we want to get through the noise in theory, cut through the noise with a message that's specific for the person, we have higher chances to do it. We can also improve deliverability because we're sending unique messages, and all of that should increase the reply rate. And right now with AI, it can be done at scale. I've been in a very unique situation because I've been sending cold emails. I've been running campaigns for life science academics, and life science academics are like a prime ripe subject for AI hyperpersonalization because of what you see on your screen. And they all publish scientific articles, and we can look in those articles and pull out insanely relevant professional information tied up to our products straight from those articles and use AI to hyper personalize based on that information. And when you think of AI hyper personalization, when you think of personalization, even in general, people usually what they do, they try to get something from company website, from news articles, from LinkedIn, but it's really hard to tie. Hey, you went to University of Michigan, go Wolverines, and now buy my products. Doesn't make any sense. But in the case of selling to life science academics, you can say, hey, I see you working with retinal organoids. I have a product for organoid research. Hey, I see you doing single cell RNA sequencing. I have a product for single cell RNA sequencing. So in this case, when we contacting corresponding authors of these papers, hyper-personalization makes perfect sense. That's why I was so excited about doing it. This is my go-to cold email copy. So without AI hyper-personalization, I still have somewhat personalized messages because I use maybe article year, the mention scientific publication. So mention, hey, in this year you published an article on experimental eye research, but I don't need AI for this, right? And I have a question about RNA-seq, which is a life science research methodology that lots of life science researchers are using. So when I say AI hyper-personalization, I mean something like this. With regards to ABCA4 organoid sequencing, so this paper specifically mentions ABCA4 human mutant retinal organoids. Or we can mention, hey, John, I saw your paper about ABCA4 organoid sequencing. So we can plug this type of hyper-personalization elements in cold email copy and create something very unique, very specific for that person. So let me show you the workflow itself. This is the data that I typically scrape from the papers. So this is article DOI as a unique identifier, corresponding author, their email address, article title, and subject. So this is something I plug into AI hyperpersonalization workflow. This is the prompt that I use for hyperpersonalization. This is very elaborate. It has a long backstory because several years ago I was working with a client and we together hyperpersonalized 200 maybe 400 cold emails, several hundred cold emails. I went back and found those hyper-personalizations that I did manually. And based on those hyper-personalized elements, together with ChatGPT, I came up with this script that gives me exactly the same type of results that I would do if I were doing it manually. I think the key form here is a noun phrase. So this thing here, ABCA4 organoid sequencing, is a 3 to 4 word organoid noun phrase. And also I give them an example of how I want to do it. I say, hey, use abbreviations and so on. So this is the very elaborate prompt. And if you think, hey, I'll just quickly figure out how to do AI hyperpersonalization, trust me, when you start getting into it, to get consistent good results, you'll have to put a lot of time and energy into it. And if it's worth it, if you get good outcome, good. But otherwise, even if it's at scale, if it's with AI, to get consistent results, you'll still have to invest a lot of time and energy. So think before you start. That's my message here of this entire video. This thing plugs, you see this phrase GPT analyze B1C1. This thing plugs into Google Sheet. So here is an example. This is a Google Sheet that plugs AI script, plugs API script from ChatGPT. So this is this phrase. This is article subject, article abstract. This is the phrase. This thing runs API script on the ChatGPT script on the background. If I just drag it, see what happens. It comes up with this 2 to 3 word, 3 to 4 noun phrases that I can use as elements of hyperpersonalization. And by the way, I need to save it in values only because every time I open it, it will be running that script. This is my starting point, and if I do hyperpersonalization, I just add this extra column here that I can already plug into instantly and send those hyper-personalized messages. So that's the whole hyper-personalization workflow. Let me show you results. This is a typical result that I get. So here you see a test of 3,000 cold emails sent, perfect split test. Half of them are hyper-personalized, half of them are group personalized. I don't even remember which one is which in this case, but it's like 6 replies versus 7 replies. It doesn't make any difference. And this is a typical result because I've been selling throughout 2025. I've been selling 3 products to actually 3 or 4 offers to the same type of target audience, to life science academics, where I could hyper personalize. Oh yeah, I was selling 4 offers, but hyper personalizing just to 3 of them, only to 3 of them, not to the 4th one. So I tried hyper personalization for 3 different offers, and every single time I see results like this. So I just decided no more. Let's focus on what works. AI is awesome, but in this case, it's not producing results. So what does work? 3 things: basics, deliverability. That's something you set and forget. Proper domains and mailboxes using instantly or smart lead with domains and mailboxes pre-warmed with proper DNS records. A list, it's contacting the right people that can use the offer, enriching your list with the right people, whether using filters on Apollo or whether you saw doing articles with academics, conference attendees, whatever your process is. If your list is enriched with the right people, then your reply rate will go up. And the number one thing that determines the reply rate is the offer. So if we're selling something that people want, the reply rate is high. If we're selling something people don't, the reply rate is low. And the biggest difference that I see, because I work with multiple clients, every time I start working with a client, I want to check how well that offer performs, because sometimes I see a reply rate 1 in 5, sometimes I see 1 in 500, sometimes I see such low reply rate that I refuse to work with a client. So the offer, the product market fit of what we're selling is the number one determining factor. So if you are an agent like me, a business developer, a contract business developer, make sure you select the right people. If you are a business owner, make sure you improve the product market fit of what you have. And if you're a business developer working for a company, make sure you work closely with your clients, make sure you work closely with your product managers to understand exactly what you're selling and how best to position and how best to put it in the cold email copy so people understand what's in it for them.